Hello everybody, this is Ron and behind me is Lynette. We're at the Business Management Boot Camp in Jacksonville, Florida. We have an exciting group of people here, of which Nikki is about to turn around and show. Yeah, rather loud too. And I'm going to do your questions right now, but before I do, Lynette's been calling leads here for the last day and a half.
2 days, actually.
Day and a half. And,
It's 4 o'clock.
and we started with a whole bunch of leads. And how many deals, the last break we had, gosh, I don't remember.
We're up to 21 contracts, right?
21 deals so far.
21
Day and a half. And we're talking about terms deals. So what do you want to tell us here?
Okay, so here's the important numbers. So we had a total of 149 lead sheets turned in.
Yep.
Okay.
And you were able to reach how many?
I was able to reach a total of 75.
Okay. And you left messages.
Well, what happened was I left messages actually in text, 118 total, but
Right.
75 is how many I spoke with. Out of those 75 that I spoke with, 21 were contracts.
Not contracts,
Well,
deals.
deals.
Okay, we'll be writing contracts.
We'll be writing contracts. 54 of them, they were either no, or the house was sold, or the house was listed with a real estate agent. And a lot of those no's are follow-up, right? Time and circumstance changes all sellers' minds, so we're going to follow up and stay organized, because not every deal is a deal the first time around.
Right. So I don't know what that means. So you reached 75 people on the phone. Out of that, you got 21 deals.
Correct.
Jeez. Okay. That's incredible. And you left messages for 118. How many have called you back so far?
30.
30. Okay. So, so these deals came. You know how many of these deals came from these callbacks?
11.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. That's 11 deals you guys wouldn't get. She hadn't texted these folks.
Is that amazing?
So they called back from text?
13 of them are nothing down deals.
Yeah.
13 were nothing down. That's our favorite deal. Money down.
So you guys watching, we ain't making this stuff up. You better get to the summit and bring a pile of leads. We got 10 people calling there, not just one. Of course, none of them are as good as her.
Oh, yeah, right. They're all just as great.
All right.
So that's really very interesting. You want to text them. That's huge. Text messaging.
Okay, we'll do a few of those. First, let me get these questions out of the way. Sit down.
Go. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to go.
No, go ahead. Shoot the questions at me.
Okay. Question number 1 is from Matt Gordon in Peoria, Illinois,
Okay?
which is the pig capital. I happen to know that.
All right.
Okay, so Matt asked,
That was important.
when placing the pointer signs to direct lease option buyers, how do you handle placing the pointer signs when you enter the residential neighborhoods and there's nowhere to place your signs for directing buyer traffic to your house except in someone's yard?
You go and knock on the door and ask them if you can place a sign in their yard. It might not hurt for you to ask them coupons for restaurants close by in case you need them.
That's right.
It's called a bribe.
And it might be nice to put a helium balloon on that sign to have it stand out if you're doing the 1 hour open house.
Yes.
Okay, that's the 1 hour open house though. Well, that's what we're doing here, isn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
directing arrows into them.
Well, we don't know that for sure. All right, next question.
Okay, and the next question is from Robert in Rochester Hills, Michigan.
Okay.
He says, "Hi, Ron.
Hi, Robert.
I really like your system and your no-nonsense teaching style, but I'm curious about 2 issues that I have never heard you address in any of the videos I've watched. First of all, when you take over a mortgage payment and place a tenant buyer in a lease option, you always assume the payment stays the same. However, the property taxes will go up when the owner moves out and loses the homestead exemption. Do you have a way to avoid this change in taxes in the eventual change in the mortgage escrow payment?"
It goes up, it goes up. You better have a big enough spread in it where you don't worry about things like that, Robert. And by the way, when you change your insurance policy for the owner occupants, your policy is cheaper. Your insurance deduction might way wash out your tax increase.
Okay, and the second part of Robert's question,
Let me answer.
Oh.
By the way, Robert, if you're taking over a debt, that means the property's not going to get reassessed because it's already, you haven't paid more than the debt. Therefore, there's no reason for them to reassess it. See all these things you worry about?
well, he's got more.
Waste of time.
Because then he says, you always dictate that you will cover closing costs.
Yep.
Do you buy new title insurance or do you avoid the title insurance costs?
Don't need title insurance on houses we're not putting any money into. Just make sure the title's clean. See you in Quick Start School, Robert.
Okay, and the next question is from Pal.
Oh, Pal.
Yes, hi Pal.
She's so sweet.
She says, my question is, I need to know where I could find good funding sources, private lenders. Trustworthy. I have had bad experience with a few.
And that's because of what's coming out of your mouth, pal. Private lenders are all over the place, but we're not going to be able to handle that on this short Q&A session. Private lenders are humans. You just got to let them know what you do and tell them how they're safe and secure. And if you're talking to people with money, you won't have bad experiences. However, there's some lessons on Gold Club, and it's taught at the boot camp, but I sure can't teach it here in 80 seconds.
Okay.
By the way, you don't need private lenders to do pretty house deals.
Good point.
You don't need private lenders to do real estate. You just need private lenders who want to pay cash for a house. Okay, next.
Another question from Matt Gordon. I have a house that I am lease optioning, and I've gotten tired of taking calls from buyer with $1,500 down.
Yeah.
So I've decided to get an IVR with Callfire. I don't yet have the money available to upgrade to the Dream system, so I have to set up my IVR myself. My question is, what questions do you recommend I put in my IVR when setting it up to take buyer calls?
Help me, please.
We used to do the IVR, remember?
We don't do IVRs
We
anymore.
don't do it
And
anymore.
to be fair, I would kill the IVR, take the calls yourself, until you can get the money set up Pat Live, and let them take the calls for you, and they already have that script. What you really want to know, number one, is how much can they put down? Number two, how much can they pay per month? Because honestly, not much else matters.
Okay. And now the final question on this week's Ask Ron
Good.
is from Leo Cochrane.
Leo.
Hi, Leo.
He's from Canada.
Yeah.
He says, I have a house that I bought a little over a year ago and have great tenant buyers in it. They have been doing a lot of work and spending a lot of money on it, and now they want to buy it but can't get a mortgage.
Right?
Can I do a wraparound mortgage on it, or what would I do about the title?
I don't understand the question. Are you asking me if you can sell it with owner financing? Yes, you can. He's in Canada?
Yeah.
Yes, even in Canada. In fact, on our book club site, we've got a lot of Canadian stuff on there for you. But I'm not sure that's what you should do, but you can do it. What you're trying to do is force a buyer into a house that can't qualify for a loan. I'm not sure that's what you should do. Frankly, if they can't buy it ever, why don't you just extend it and give them a chance to fix whatever broke so they can't qualify, instead of selling them on a wrap. I don't remember in Canada how much you have to do to go get the property back if they don't pay. But you didn't mention the down payment either. If you're going to sell it to them on a wrap, they need a substantial down payment. So if none of that's applicable, quit trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. Go find another buyer. Be glad you did. And by the way, it's in Canada. Agreement for sale?
Yeah, AFS.
Yeah, AFS, agreement for sale.
Okay, well, that's the final question for this week's Ask
That's all
Ron.
you got?
That's all.
And turn it around on this audience and see if they got any.
Who has a question for this week's Ask Ron?
Okay.
Okay, wait, let me get a little closer so we can see who the handsome fellow is that's asking a question. There he is.
Okay.
Say your name and where you're from.
Call me Poppy, and I'm from North Carolina.
Okay, what's your question?
So I have a buyer that called me that I sit in on a session to close, and her son was there, and we were all ready to go. She wanted to go. I was buying a house that's worth about $320 for $285,000. She owed $265. I was going to pay her $20,000 for her equity.
What's the question?
And her son stopped the process. He wanted to talk with an attorney. He put the kibosh on it, so I couldn't negotiate. So then she talks to the attorney without our contract being filled out, which I knew was a bad idea, but I had to leave the paper. She talked with the attorney. I knew the attorney, he's a good attorney.
What's the question?
He says, you know, as long as you get out of this thing in 6 months, it's not that uncommon for us to do business this way. So now she wants me to try to find a buyer and get her cashed out. She's concerned that she's going to have to carry this mortgage debt, and that's her whole problem. And I think it was a question of the attorney thinks it's a subject to situation when it's a wrap.
Somewhere.
So here's the question.
Oh, we're getting it. The question.
Okay. So I told her that she would have a piece of paper that she could take if she wanted to get a loan somewhere, and she would be able to show that this mortgage debt was being paid off.
That's not true. You can't show it's paid off because it's not paid off.
That it was being paid off, that it was being paid
No,
for.
you can show she's receiving the payments every month.
Like a note in mortgage, yeah.
Okay.
And the attorney didn't indicate that to her. So now I think it's just a matter of the difference between a subject to and a wrap. Is that not the case?
No.
Because she has a wrap, she'll have a note in mortgage.
Okay, what you're trying to do is save the deal.
Yeah.
All right, all you can do is state the facts to her, and if that satisfies her, great. If not, quit worrying about it, and go get somebody else, because she's probably already been poisoned, and it's going to be hard to bring her back. On the other hand, she wants to sell her house fast enough, she'll ignore all that stuff anyway.
But would she not have a piece of paper?
No, you're trying to answer questions I haven't even heard her ask yet, okay? She's not going to get the loan paid off if he sells it to you. There's no way you can handle that. There's no way you can fix that. So quit trying to make up stuff to make her believe that's not true. And if she wants to go qualify for another loan, all you can tell her is that if you buy it on a wrap, she may. You can't even tell her she can. You don't know what a bank's going to do. But that's all you can tell her. That won't work for her. Go back later and see when circumstances tell her it's time. Maybe about December 15th, perhaps. Yeah. Before Christmas. And stay with her. You know, she'll sell sooner or later. All right. Anybody else got a question? Okay. All right. Well, that's it for now. See you next week. Go make some money.
Say bye, everyone.